Hi, guys. Welcome back to episode 8, game week 8 of the Fantasy Chancellor Football Show. The Fantasy Football Show we bring you each and every week on the Upper Tier podcast. So, obviously, we had no show last week. So, game week 7 was a non runner with obviously the death of Queen Elizabeth. So, all the games were postponed last week. A bit of fixture congestion now is going to happen. We reckon within the new year is when game week 7 is going to be slotted in somewhere. Obviously, with the World Cup coming up, it's not going to be possible this side of Christmas to get those fixtures in. So, game week 7, everyone just drew a zero, scratch it off, and here we are, game week 8, but not without interruption. So, we got 7 games this week, so I'm going to go through them. We got double header actually on Friday night, which is pretty unusual for a Friday to have 2 games on simultaneously. So we start off with Villa and Southampton, and then Forest at home to Fulham, and then on Saturday morning, Wolves at home to Manchester City, followed by the 3 o'clock game, which is Newcastle and Bournemouth, followed by the 5:30, which is Spurs at home to Leicester. And then if we have a look at Sunday's fixtures, a different Super Sunday to what it was supposed to be. It was supposed to be Manchester United and Leeds, and then it was supposed to be Chelsea and Liverpool. So different games. We have Brentford and Arsenal and Everton at home to West Ham. So obviously that's going to make a lot of implications on people's teams. And then people were saying, should I make the transfers now? Should I play my wild card? Maybe yes, if you do have your wild card, maybe you could use it. But I kind of held back on it because I know I'm not going to make that much changes to the base of my team this year. So I know that in the future I will get a double round and I could maybe triple captain someone depending on what way that goes. So I'm going to hold my chips for now and we're going to wait and see what happens. So if we look at this week then for the team that I am going with, and I actually have only 10 players this week because I'm not going to make the changes. So in goal, I've went with Dean Henderson. This is a good game for Forest maybe to pick up a clean sheet and a win, in my opinion. Obviously, it's not going to be straightforward. They will concede chances, but it depends on what kind of form that man there is. Henderson, he's been very good for Nottingham Forest, but what is around him is questionable. And with all the signings that they have brought in, they kind of mirror what Fulham done the last time that they were relegated. You know, they tore the script up of the team that got them to where they were, bought a load of players. It didn't work out for Fulham. They went back down. So does that fate await Nottingham Forest? We have to wait and see. Nico Williams then as well. I'd be really hoping for obviously clean sheet from Forest this week, and I think it's a good chance for them definitely at home. So that's 2 of my back 5, we'll say, is Nottingham Forest, and then the next 2 are Arsenal, and Arsenal had a very tough time in this fixture last year against Brentford. Obviously, they lost 3-0 at the very start of the season last year. There was COVID issues. There was a lot of players missing, and it'll be a completely different team that lines up as opposed to the one that lined up last year. I still expect a difficult game for Arsenal, and on the face of it, I would be surprised if those 2 men kept clean sheets. At the same time, Saliba has been good with getting a goal and an assist so far this season, so there's choice for or there's a chance for points there rather as well. So in between them, then I went for Nathan Collins, probably the standout, one of the standout players. I would say the standout player probably for Wolves so far this season with Connor Cody's exit. Nathan Collins has just slotted in there and become a leader at the back, which is fantastic for us as Irish people as well to kind of watch his progression there. And of course, he's only 4.5 million as well. So that is definitely a budget defender that's going to play week in, week out, that is getting points on the board. However, this week up against probably you would think Erling Haaland, if not Julian Alvarez, and everyone else in around him. It's going to be very difficult for him to get a clean sheet this week. But anything can really happen in football. You never know. Now in the middle of the park, I have Kouyaté, Pereira, and unfortunately, Sterling is out because Chelsea's fixture is cancelled. So Kouyaté and Pereira, you'd have to look at that and say, well, that looks like a pretty weak midfield for this week, and maybe it is, but I'm going to go with them anyway. I don't expect much from these two players, to be honest with you. But with the games being cancelled, this is kind of the only way I can do this. So basically, I'm banking on the front three, and I went with Kane as captain at home to Leicester. Leicester in absolutely dire straits at the moment. Can't really see where the next victory is coming from. I fully expect Tottenham to bounce back from their midweek woes in the Champions League, and I can't see anything other than a Tottenham win, and that's why I put the armband on Kane this week. In beside him, then Gabriel Jesus got a few goals so far this season. I expect him to be in the mix at Brentford. You know, if Arsenal do score, the man is like he's always in and around the box, so he's good for a goal and an assist. And then Erling Haaland, and that's my only concern as well. That he's played a lot of games recently, and we seen last year at Borussia Dortmund he did have a few injury problems. So is Pep going to try and protect him for maybe bigger games? That's that's one to keep an eye on. But he doesn't seem like the type of person that want to sit around on the bench either. So be interesting to see if Alvarez gets a run out against Wolves. And as you can see then on the bench, Sanchez, Salah, Pascal Gross, Malaysia, all not playing this week. So I've kept my chips. I'm not gonna risk getting rid of the players because they will come back. For some of them are coming back now for possibly double weeks as well. And Liverpool obviously have 2 games in hand now, or will have 2 games in hand, as will Manchester United. So there's definitely going to be opportunity there to maybe do a triple captain, depending on if fixtures are favourable or not. So what I'm going to do now is just have a quick look at the table before we go. So the upper tier. Yeah, you can see there that Jamie is out in front with 418 points. It's a fantastic tally, I will say, for, let's say, it's only 6 weeks because game week 7 was inactive. So that's very good. You're scrolling down the table there. It's still very, very tight. I'm coming in at 17 out of 42, which I'm not too displeased about at all. Big shout out to Garrett Murdoch there in number 13. Garrett's part of a pretty famous band called Ailstorm. So if you haven't seen them, go check them out. They're really, really good. They're actually a pirate metal band. Very interesting. Popped up then, yeah, we still have the 42. Nobody has quit the league yet, which is fantastic, because sometimes when I play this, sometimes guys get so into it, and I'm not mentioning anyone in particular, but if he's watching this, he knows who I'm talking about. So that's it for this week, guys. Thanks a million for your time again, and don't forget to stay on this channel. Check out some other videos from Niall and Darren. Like, they're putting out some great content every Monday and every Thursday to do a live show. It's very interactive, people getting in the comments, etc. So definitely check them out, watch it, like, subscribe, all that kind of stuff, and we will see you next week.